Hello everyone, this is your friend Naruto Fix, and we are back with another epic What If Naruto fanfic. Which is, what if Naruto's love affairs cost him his dream of becoming Hokage? If you love Naruto fanfics, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the journey with me. So, let's start the fanfic. The morning sun over Konoha was soft and golden, glinting off the rooftops and casting warm light on the faces of the villagers below. Birds sang, merchants shouted, and the streets buzzed with energy. For most people, it was just another day. But for Naruto Uzumaki, today was the day, the first stage of the Chunin exams. It was supposed to be the biggest test of his ninja career. Supposed to be. Naruto sat on the roof of Ichiraku Ramen, staring at the sunrise. His headband hung loosely around his neck, and his heart thudded in his chest. Not from fear of the exam, but from something much more dangerous. He was in love. Actually, not once, not twice, but twice and confused. Revolving hearts, conflicted heart. It had started a month ago. Hinata had confessed, shyly, nervously, with that small tremble in her voice that made Naruto's heart feel like melting butter. I believe in you, Naruto-kun, I've always believed in you. Quote. Those words had hit him harder than any Rasengan. And just when he thought he understood what love felt like, Ino had entered the picture, confident, fiery, teasing him at every turn. She'd started hanging around him during training sessions, tossing her hair and calling him, Mr. Hokage in training. Hinata made his heart race with warmth. Ino made it explode with chaos. And between the two, Naruto was completely doomed. Flushed exam day begins. At the academy hall, the Chunin exams had begun. Teams from every village filled the room, sand, cloud, leaf, mist, each with their own pride and purpose. Shikamaru leaned on his desk, sighing. You look distracted, Naruto. Don't tell me you actually studied for this. Quote. Naruto grinned nervously. Kinda, maybe, no. Sakura frowned. Naruto, focus. This exam decides your future, not your dating life. Naruto scratched his head. Right. The exam. Totally focused. Quote. But he wasn't. He was thinking about Hinata's nervous smile that morning. About Ino brushing past him with that confident smirk and whispering, Don't mess up, Naruto, I'll be watching. The proctor's voice snapped him out of his thoughts. Begin. Naruto looked down at the paper, and froze. 10 questions, each one worse than the last. He tried to focus, but every number turned into faces. Question 1 looked like Hinata smiling. Question 2 looked like Ino flipping her hair. Question 3 literally started whispering in his head, Naruto-kun. What the hell is happening? Naruto muttered under his breath. Heartbreak Hinata's glance. Across the room, Hinata watched him. She wanted to help. She could feel his chakra panicking. But she couldn't cheat. Not now. Not in front of everyone. Still, her eyes softened. Naruto-kun, you can do it, she whispered quietly. Naruto heard her voice in his head, and suddenly he wasn't thinking about the test at all. He imagined taking her out for ramen after the exams, maybe walking her home, maybe. Oi, focus, Sakura hissed. He jumped. I'm focused. Except, he wasn't. Dizzy the flashback. The day before the exam, he'd run into both girls at once. Hinata had brought him a handmade scarf. Ino had given him a lucky charm. Both said the same thing, it'll help you do your best tomorrow. And Naruto, being Naruto, had accepted both. At the same time, in front of both of them. For 2 seconds, everything had been perfectly quiet. Then chaos. Ino had glared daggers at him. Oh, so you're collecting good luck gifts now, huh? Hinata had turned scarlet and stammered, Naruto-kun, I didn't know you and Ino. Naruto, panicking, had yelled, wait. It's not like that. I just, both of you are, important. Yeah, important. That didn't help, at all. Now, sitting in the exam room, his mind replayed that moment over and over like a genjutsu nightmare. Cyclone exam disaster. An hour in. 9 blank answers. Naruto's brain was officially fried. He slammed his fists on the desk. Come on, Naruto, think. You're not just some lovesick idiot. You're gonna be Hokage. Quote. Except the proctor glared at him. Quiet down, Uzumaki. He froze. Hey, sorry. Shikamaru sighed beside him. Troublesome. You're finished, man. Naruto looked down, defeated. His heart ached, not because of failure, but because he'd disappointed himself. And maybe, disappointed the people he cared about most. He'd let his emotions control him, again. Heartbreak aftermath. Hours later, the scores were posted. Naruto's name wasn't on the passing list. He stared at the board, silent. Sakura looked away, not knowing what to say. Even Sasuke frowned quietly. You lost focus, that's all. But Naruto wasn't angry. He was just empty. When he walked outside, the sky had turned orange with sunset. Hinata was waiting by the gate, hands clasped, eyes worried. Did you pass, Naruto-kun? He smiled weakly. No, guess I was thinking about the wrong things. Her face fell, but she nodded. You tried your best. That's what matters. A few minutes later, Ino appeared from the other side, pretending to look casual. Hey, so, how'd you do, Romeo? Naruto scratched his head, laughing softly. Failed. Guess love's not good for my grades. Quote. Ino blinked, then crossed her arms. You're such an idiot. But, at least you're our idiot. Hinata giggled softly. Even Naruto couldn't help but laugh. Sunrise a promise. That night, Naruto sat alone under the Hokage monument again, looking up at the stars. His heart hurt, but not in a bad way, in the kind of way that makes you want to be better. I failed the exam, but I won't fail my dream. I'll get stronger. I'll learn to balance everything, love, friends, duty. That's what Hokage means. The wind brushed through his hair. Somewhere in the distance, he could hear Hinata's soft voice calling his name and Ino's teasing laugh echoing behind it. He smiled. Guess I've got a lot to figure out, huh? Quote. As he stared at the village below, his determination returned, stronger, clearer, calmer. He might have failed the exam. But Naruto Uzumaki had found something worth fighting for. And this time, love wouldn't be his weakness. It would be his strength. The next morning in Konoha, Naruto woke up later than usual. His apartment was a mess, clothes on the floor, instant ramen cups stacked like trophies of failure, and his headband tossed carelessly on the table. He rubbed his eyes, staring at the morning light that filtered through the window. Failed the exam, Tobio, he muttered. Man, this sucks. He grabbed his jacket and walked out, hands in pockets, his mind heavy. The sound of birds, laughter, and the usual morning buzz of the village didn't reach him the same way. Everything felt distant. For the first time in a long time, Naruto didn't feel like shouting, I'll be Hokage one day. Quote. He just walked quietly, wondering where he went wrong. Herb a visit to the training ground. When he reached training ground 3, the place was quiet. The wind blew softly, carrying the smell of grass and the faint memory of laughter, the days he'd trained here with Team 7. He sat on the old wooden post, staring at the ground. What's wrong with me? Why can't I stay focused? Every time I think I'm getting stronger, I just mess it up. He clenched his fists. The memory of his exam paper flashed before his eyes. Blank, empty, a symbol of failure. And then, another memory. Hinata's hopeful smile, Ino's teasing laugh, both of them cheering for him, believing in him. He sighed. Maybe I let my heart get in the way of my dream. Quote. Just then, he heard soft footsteps. Revolving hearts. Hinata appears. Naruto-kun. He turned. Hinata stood there, holding a small box wrapped in cloth. Her gentle eyes met his. Oh, hey, Hinata. What are you doing here? Quote. I wanted to see how you were feeling. She fidgeted slightly, looking nervous as always. Naruto smiled faintly. I'm fine. Just thinking, I guess. Hinata nodded, then handed him the box. I made you breakfast. You didn't eat yesterday, right? Naruto blinked. You knew that. She smiled shyly. You always forget when you're upset. He took the box, opening it carefully. Simple rice balls, an egg roll, and a few slices of pickled radish, nothing fancy, but made with care. Naruto's chest warmed. Thanks, Hinata. You're really something, you know. Her face turned pink, and she quickly looked away. I just wanted to help. They sat quietly under the tree, sharing the food. Naruto looked at her, then said softly, you know, I thought love made me weaker. But maybe, it's supposed to make me stronger. Hinata glanced at him. Love doesn't make you weak, Naruto-kun. It just reminds you why you want to be strong. Quote. Her words struck deep. Naruto looked at his hands, remembering the promise he made to himself. Yeah, you're right. Cherry Blossom the storm named Ino. Just then, a loud voice broke the peace. Oi, what's this? A secret breakfast date. Hinata jumped as Ino appeared out of nowhere, hands on hips, smirking. TCH, Naruto, I knew you'd be moping around somewhere, but I didn't think you'd be this cozy. Naruto groaned. Ino, it's not what it looks like. Ino snorted. Yeah, sure, you accidentally let her feed you, huh? Hinata turned red. No, I just brought him breakfast. Ino crossed her arms, teasing. I can make breakfast too, you know. Probably even better. Naruto raised his hands. Hey, it's not a competition. Both girls looked at him. Hinata's voice was small but firm. Maybe it is. Ino's grin widened. Oh, it definitely is. Quote. Naruto gulped. I'm doomed. High voltage training begins. The next few days turned into chaos, romantic chaos. Hinata began helping Naruto train quietly in the mornings, using her Byakugan to correct his chakra control. Ino started showing up in the afternoons, bringing energy pills and teaching him better focus through mental exercises she learned from the Yamanaka clan. Both claimed they were just helping him improve. Quote, both kept giving each other subtle glares whenever they crossed paths. Naruto, caught in the middle, was both blessed and terrified. One morning, as he trained with Hinata, she guided his hands gently. Focus your chakra here, Naruto-kun, slow and steady. Her touch made him shiver slightly. Why yeah, I got it. In the afternoon, Ino arrived, tossing him a bottle of water. Don't let her baby you too much, Barker. You've got to toughen up. Naruto groaned. Can't I just train in peace? Ino smirked. Not when your love life is part of the problem. Fire Sasuke's intervention. A few days later, Sasuke showed up unexpectedly at the training ground, watching Naruto from afar. You're wasting time, he said flatly. Naruto blinked. Huh, what do you mean? Sasuke crossed his arms. You failed because you lost focus. You can't chase love and power at the same time. Naruto frowned. You don't get it, Sasuke. They're part of why I fight. I wanna protect them. Sasuke scoffed. Then learn to control it. Emotions make you reckless. Naruto looked down for a moment, then smiled faintly. Yeah, maybe, but they also make me human. Sasuke turned away, muttering, do whatever you want. Just don't come crying when it costs you again. Naruto watched him leave, determination rising again in his chest. No, this time, I'll prove I can handle both. I'll pass the next exam, and I'll protect everyone I care about. Sunrise the resolve. That night, Naruto stood at the Hokage monument again. The stars above shimmered like quiet reminders of every dream he ever had. He placed both hands on his headband. I failed once, but next time, I'll win. Not just for me, but for everyone who believes in me. Behind him, two figures watched silently from a distance, Hinata and Ino. Ino whispered, he's got fire again. Hinata smiled softly. That's the Naruto-kun I know. For a brief second, their eyes met. Not with hostility, but mutual understanding. They both cared for the same boy. And deep down, both wanted the same thing, to see him shine. Naruto's heart had once been distracted by love. Now, love had become his drive. The fire inside him was burning again, stronger than ever. He was ready for the next exam. Ready to balance his heart and his dream. Ready to rise again. Morning sun spilled through the clouds, painting the roofs of Konoha gold. Naruto stood at the center of the training ground again, breathing hard, sweat dripping down his chin. Each breath carried the weight of his regret, but also a new pulse of resolve. He threw another punch, chakra exploding from his knuckles, splitting the practice post clean in two. Not this time, I'm not going to lose because of my heart again. Quote. From the trees, Hinata watched quietly, hands clasped. Ino stood on a nearby branch, leaning against the trunk, rolling her eyes. Greater than, he's overdoing it again, Ino murmured. It's how he learns, Hinata said softly. When Naruto's knee buckled, both of them darted forward at once, catching him before he hit the ground. Idiot, Ino muttered. Careful, Naruto-kun, Hinata whispered. Their voices overlapped, and for a moment he looked between them and laughed. Guess I've got two angels watching me, huh? Hinata's blush flared pink. Ino gave him a light smack on the head. Don't get cute, Barker. You still have to retake the written exam. Cyclone the re-exam. A week later, the Hokage announced the make-up Chunin test. It wasn't just a second chance, it was a trial for those who had something to prove. Naruto sat at his desk, pencil shaking in his hand. This time, focus. He remembered Hinata's calm voice helping him meditate, Ino's tricks for memory recall. He inhaled slowly, filled the page, and felt his mind clear for the first time. When time was called, he exhaled and grinned. I did it. Across the room, Ino winked, Hinata smiled faintly. Crossed swords combat round. The next stage came fast, a series of duels in the arena. Naruto stepped out, wind ruffling his hair. His opponent, Kiba, grinning as a Kamaru barked beside him. Don't think love will save you, Naruto. Kiba shouted. Naruto cracked a grin. Nah, it just keeps me fighting. Their clash shook the ground. Dust and chakra sparks filled the air. Naruto dodged, countered, and, using his clones in perfect coordination, landed a finishing strike that knocked Kiba back but left him smiling. Guess you learned something after all, Kiba said, rubbing his jaw. Naruto extended a hand. Yeah, never underestimate what drives a ninja. Revolving Hearts, the heart test. That night, as fireworks marked the end of the day's matches, Naruto sat on the steps outside the arena. Ino plopped down beside him, handing him a drink. Not bad, hero. Hinata joined him on the other side, quiet but glowing with pride. He looked between them, the two people who had kept him balanced when he'd been lost. I couldn't have done it without you two, he said softly. Ino smirked. Obviously. Hinata whispered, you did it because you never give up. Naruto leaned back, watching the sky. Maybe love doesn't make you fail. Maybe it's what keeps you getting back up. The girls exchanged a look, half rivalry, half understanding. For now, they were united by that single truth. Sunrise closing scene. Next morning, the results were posted. Naruto Uzumaki passed. He stared at the word until it blurred, then whooped loud enough to wake the village. Yes, I did it. I'm back, baby. When he turned, Hinata was crying quietly, and Ino was smiling despite herself. They both hugged him at once, and for a fleeting, perfect second, everything, love, friendship, and dreams, felt in balance. Naruto closed his eyes. I'll keep them safe. I'll keep my promise. And one day, I'll be Hokage, not in spite of my heart, but because of it. The sun had just begun to bleed orange over Konoha when Naruto woke. For once he didn't leap out of bed shouting, he just stared at the ceiling. The memory of his earlier failures still hovered over him like a dark cloud. He sat up, rubbed his head, and muttered. Greater than, if I can't balance my heart and my duty, how can I ever protect anyone? Outside, the village buzzed with life, vendors shouting, kids chasing each other, the distant clang of smiths forging new kunai. It was everything Naruto had always wanted to be part of, yet he felt oddly distant from it. He dressed, tied his headband, and walked toward the training field. Herb, the training ground of second chances. The field was quiet except for rustling leaves. Naruto placed a row of practice dummies in front of him. His clones spread out automatically. Greater than, all right. Today, we get it together. He launched forward, fists glowing faintly with chakra. 1, 2, 3 strikes, each sharper than before. The clones mimicked him perfectly, a synchronized storm of orange and gold. But midway through, an image flickered in his head, Hinata smiling shyly, Ino laughing as she threw him a bottle of water. The distraction cost him, his chakra slipped, clones popped, and he crashed face first into the dirt. Damn it, he pounded the ground. Why can't I just focus? A quiet voice answered, because you care, Naruto-kun. Quote, he looked up, Hinata stood there, lavender eyes gentle. Greater than, love isn't weakness, she continued softly. It's just, harder to balance. Naruto stared for a moment, then smiled faintly. Guess I need balance training too, huh? Quote, she giggled, soft as the wind through the trees. Dash dash dash. Revolving hearts, the unexpected visit. Later that afternoon, while Naruto practiced chakra control over a pond, a familiar voice echoed across the water. Greater than, wow, so this is where the big failure's hiding. Quote, Naruto turned, Ino stood on the bank, hands on her hips, a grin tugging at her lips. Oi, don't call me that, I'm training here, she shrugged. I can see that, you're wobbling like a drunk duck. Naruto glared, then laughed despite himself. What are you doing here anyway? Checking on you, she said. And making sure you don't drown before the next exam. She stepped closer, crouching beside him. Her tone softened. You don't have to act tough all the time. Everyone fails once. He looked at her. Yeah, but not everyone has two girls arguing over how to help him. Ino blinked. Wait, two. Forget I said that. Quote, her eyes narrowed. Hinata, huh? Naruto raised his hands defensively. It's not like that, but the grin that tugged at Ino's lips said she didn't believe him for a second. Dash dash dash. Crossed swords rivalry on the field. That evening, both Hinata and Ino showed up, at the same time. Naruto froze mid-punch. Oh, Ino smiled sweetly. Oh, Hinata, fancy seeing you here. Hinata bowed politely. I just came to help Naruto-kun with chakra control. Quote, oh, I was going to help him with focus training. The air between them practically sparked. Naruto swallowed hard. Can we maybe not turn this into a battlefield? They ignored him completely. Hinata activated her Byakugan, forming gentle palm strikes to guide his chakra flow. Ino stood beside him, whispering mental focus instructions learned from her clan. Both of them reached for his hand at the same time. Their fingers brushed. A visible jolt of energy ran through Naruto's brain. Gahhh. Too much help. He toppled backward into the pond with a splash. Both girls stared, then burst into laughter, Hinata covering her mouth, Ino holding her sides. Naruto surfaced, dripping wet but grinning. Greater than, guess teamwork's harder than I thought. Dash dash dash. Crescent moon night of reflection. That night, Naruto walked along the empty streets of Konoha, moonlight glinting off rooftops. He thought about the day, about Hinata's quiet support, Ino's bold teasing, and how both somehow filled the loneliness he'd carry. For so long. He stopped before the Hokage monument, gazing up at the carved faces. Greater than, Jiraiya-sensei once said the strongest ninja are the ones who have something to protect. He clenched his fists. Greater than, then maybe love isn't my weakness, it's my reason. Dash dash dash. Cyclone the makeup exam day. The following morning, the makeup Chunin exam began. The air around the academy crackled with tension. Naruto walked in wearing a confident grin. Hinata and Ino watched from the stands, each silently praying for him to stay focused. Ibiki handed out the papers. Greater than, same rules. Cheaters will be disqualified. Naruto looked down at the first question. It was brutal, but this time he breathed in deeply, hearing Hinata's calm voice in his head, steady your mind. He recalled Ino's trick, visualized the answer, don't panic. Hours later, when the test ended, he leaned back, smiling faintly. He'd written every answer. Dash dash dash. High voltage the battle arena. The next stage came fast, the open field battles. Crowds cheered as Naruto stepped into the ring. His opponent, Kiba Inuzuka. Oi, Naruto, hope you studied fighting as much as flirting. Quote, Naruto cracked a grin. Let's see who's barking by the end. The fight exploded in motion. Kiba charged, spinning with a Kamaru in fang over fang. Naruto countered with multiple shadow clones, weaving through attacks, his movements tighter than ever. The last exchange ended with a thunderous impact, dust billowed, then cleared to show Kiba flat on his back, Naruto standing tall, panting but smiling. The referee raised a hand. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Quote, Hinata's hands clasped together in silent joy. Ino pumped her fist. Heartbreak the moment of truth. That night, when results were announced, Naruto almost didn't look. His heart hammered. He finally opened his eyes, passed. He froze, then laughed out loud, tears in his eyes. Hinata ran to him first, throwing her arms around him. Greater than, you did it, Naruto-kun. He hugged her back, overwhelmed. Ino reached them moments later, smirking. Greater than, don't hog him all to yourself, Hinata. All three laughed, and for that brief second, the world felt simple again. Sunrise epilogue of Part 1. Later, on the Hokage monument, Naruto sat watching the sunrise. The headband gleamed around his forehead again, a Chunin's now. He whispered, greater than, I failed once because I chased love without understanding it. Now I know, it's not about choosing between love and duty. It's about fighting for both. Quote, from the path below, voices called out, Ino's confident laugh, Hinata's gentle tone. He smiled, stood up, and shouted to the sky. Greater than, I'll be Hokage one day. Believe it. The wind carried his words across the sleeping village, like a promise reborn. The morning mist over Konoha glowed faintly as the sun climbed higher. Birds chirped between the rooftops, and the smell of warm bread drifted through the streets. Naruto, now officially a Chunin, walked through the market with his hands behind his head, whistling a tune that was far too cheerful. For someone who had once called himself a failure, he felt lighter, stronger, but somewhere inside, a quiet tug remained. That tug had two faces. Hinata's gentle eyes, Ino's teasing grin. He sighed to himself. Greater than, man, I can beat Kiba, I can survive a whole exam, but I can't figure this love stuff out. An old woman selling dumplings looked up and chuckled. Greater than, young love always confuses the brave ones. Quote, Naruto blushed. What are you talking about, Granny? She winked. You've got that look in your eyes, the one caught between two hearts. Naruto scratched his cheek awkwardly. Gotta go train. Quote, he bolted down the street, face red as a tomato. Cherry blossom a walk with Hinata. Later that afternoon, Naruto found himself at the park near the Hyuga compound. The cherry trees were shedding petals like pink rain. Hinata waited there, holding a small lunchbox. When she saw him, her whole face brightened. Greater than, I'm glad you came, Naruto-kun. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck. You said you wanted to talk. She nodded shyly, patting the space beside her on the bench. I made you lunch, to celebrate your promotion. He sat down, watching her hands tremble slightly as she opened the box. Inside were perfectly shaped rice balls and sweet tamago rolls. Greater than, wow, Hinata. These look awesome. She smiled softly. I'm happy you like them. As they ate, the silence between them wasn't awkward, it was warm. Every small glance, every brush of her hand, felt heavy with things unsaid. Finally, Hinata gathered courage. Naruto-kun, I've always believed in you. Even when you failed, or when no one else did. He turned, eyes widening slightly. Hinata. Her voice shook, but her words were steady. When I saw you stand up again, it made me want to be stronger too. You give me courage. Naruto stared at her for a long moment. For once, he didn't joke or shout. He just smiled, softly, sincerely. Greater than, you've always been strong, Hinata. I just didn't notice how much. Her heart fluttered. Before either of them could say more, a loud voice echoed from across the park. Greater than, oh, so this is where you sneak off to. Blossom Ino's interruption. Ino came striding down the path, a bag of flowers in her hand and a smirk on her lips. Greater than, geez, Naruto, I was wondering why you skipped training. Guess I should have known. Naruto jumped up. It's not what it looks like. Quote, Hinata flinched, but tried to stay calm. Hello, Ino-san. Ino looked her over, then raised a brow. So you're feeding him now. Should I start bringing dessert too? Naruto groaned. You two are gonna make me die of embarrassment. Quote, Ino laughed and handed him a single white rose. Relax, hero. I just came to congratulate you too. I figured I'd be nice for once. Hinata's eyes softened at the sight of the flower, though her smile faltered for half a second. Naruto accepted it awkwardly. Thanks, both of you. I don't deserve this kind of stuff. Ino's teasing tone faded. You do, Naruto. You worked for it. Hinata nodded. You earned it. The silence that followed was tender and heavy. 3 hearts beating at the same rhythm, but none of them sure what to do next. Crescent Moon the Night Festival. A week later, Konoha's streets filled with paper lanterns and music. The village glowed under the moonlight. Naruto wandered the festival in awe, fireworks bursting above, laughter all around. He stopped at a ramen stand when someone tapped his shoulder. Greater than, found you. It was Ino, hair tied up, wearing a soft lavender yukata that matched her eyes. Naruto blinked. Whoa, Ino. You look, she smirked. Different. Stunning. Go ahead, you can say it. He laughed nervously. Yeah, that. She chuckled and looped her arm through his. Come on, walk with me. Quote, they moved through the crowd together, stopping for games and snacks. Naruto found himself laughing more than he had in days. Ino's energy was contagious, confident, alive, the kind that made the world brighter just by being near. When fireworks started again, she leaned closer. Greater than, you're not as hopeless as you used to be. He blinked. That's a compliment, right? She smiled. Yeah, it is. For a moment, they just watched the sky, faces glowing in the light. Then, from across the square, Naruto spotted Hinata near a lantern booth, her pale yukata shimmering softly under the moon. Their eyes met, and the world stopped. Ino followed his gaze, her expression tightening just slightly. So, she's here too, huh? Naruto swallowed hard. Yeah. Ino's smile faded into something gentler, but sadder. You really don't get how much you matter to people, do you? Before he could reply, she pressed the flower she'd been holding into his hand and whispered, don't hurt her, or yourself. Quote, then she walked away, her figure disappearing into the crowd. Naruto stood frozen, heart pounding, until Hinata quietly approached him. Greater than, Naruto-kun, you look sad. He forced a smile. Nah. Just thinking too much. Quote, she tilted her head, then stopped thinking. Just be here. They stood together under the fireworks, no words, just the soft brush of her hand against his. For that brief second, it felt like all the noise in the world had faded, leaving only the sound of their hearts. Sunrise the morning after. When dawn broke, Naruto sat on the Hokage monument again, the flower still in his hand, white petals glowing faintly in the early light. He closed his eyes. Hinata's kindness, Ino's fire. 2 different kinds of love. Both real, both precious. He whispered to himself. Greater than, maybe, the hardest battles aren't on the battlefield. Maybe they're in here. He placed the flower beside him, watching the village wake. The boy who once failed his exam had now learned the truth. Sometimes the heart can test a ninja more than any enemy ever could. And though he didn't have all the answers, Naruto smiled. Because this time, he wasn't running away from how he felt. He was learning to face it. The sunrise crept over Konoha, golden light spilling between rooftops like melted honey. Naruto sat on the edge of the Hokage monument, the white rose Ino had given him balanced between his fingers. The petals fluttered in the breeze, fragile, beautiful, and confusingly symbolic of everything inside his heart. Greater than, why does something as soft as love feel heavier than training with Jiraiya? Below him, the village was already alive. Vendors opened stalls, children ran laughing toward the academy, and shinobi reported for early missions. But up here, Naruto felt still, caught between 2 versions of himself. The boy who dreamed of being Hokage, and the young man who suddenly understood what it meant to care about someone. Cherry Blossom Hinata's visit. A quiet rustle broke his thoughts. He turned, and there she was. Hinata, holding a small bento, her hair brushing gently against her shoulders in the breeze. Naruto-kun, you left the festival so suddenly last night. Quote. He rubbed the back of his head. Yeah, sorry about that. Guess I needed some air. She stepped closer, sitting beside him on the cool stone. The morning light made her eyes shimmer, soft, lilac, full of concern. You looked lonely, she whispered. Naruto smiled faintly. I'm not used to all this attention. People caring, you know. For so long, it was just me. Hinata's fingers brushed his arm, hesitant but brave. You're not alone anymore. You never will be, not if I can help it. Her voice was barely a whisper, yet it hit harder than any jutsu. Naruto turned toward her, heart thudding like a drum. Their eyes locked, pure, fragile, real. For a moment, neither spoke. The air between them trembled, and Naruto felt something break open inside him. Hinata, when you look at me like that, I feel like I can do anything. Her lips parted, words caught between breath and courage. Then, let me keep looking. He froze, and for one heartbeat, time stopped, until a kunai thunked into the stone beside them. Blossom Ino's message. A small scroll was tied to the kunai handle. Naruto blinked and pulled it free. Meet me at the training grounds. Urgent, Ino. He sighed, glancing apologetically at Hinata. Guess duty calls. Hinata nodded, trying to hide the flicker of worry in her smile. Go. I'll wait for you after. Quote. Naruto leapt off the monument, wind catching his jacket as he sped toward the field. When he arrived, Ino stood in the middle of the clearing, training dummies scattered around her. Sweat glistened on her skin. She'd been practicing hard. Took you long enough, she said, tossing her ponytail back. We need to talk. Naruto crossed his arms. About what? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she walked up close, too close, and poked him in the chest. About this. About you acting like you're fine when you're not. Naruto blinked, stunned. Ino frowned. You're pretending to be the same idiot who laughs everything off, but I see through it. You're lost, Naruto. And you can't fight that with ramen or fake smiles. Her voice trembled, the edges softening. You matter too much to too many people to keep breaking yourself like this. Naruto looked down, her words cutting deep. You sound like you care. Ino's lips curved sadly. I do. More than I should. The silence that followed was thick enough to choke on. The world around them, birds, rustling leaves, distant chatter, faded until it was just them. Ino. She didn't let him finish. In a flash of movement, unexpected even for a ninja, she leaned in and pressed a quick, trembling kiss to his cheek. Naruto froze, eyes wide. Ino pulled back, cheeks burning but gaze steady. Don't say anything. Just remember that someone sees you, even when you don't see yourself. And with that, she turned and walked away, hands shaking behind her back. Naruto stood there, hand on his cheek, heart racing faster than any battle he'd fought. Cloud with rain evening confusion. That night, Naruto lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Every word, every look, every heartbeat from that day replayed like a movie. Hinata's soft touch, Ino's sudden kiss. He groaned, burying his face in a pillow. Why does my life have to be like a soap opera? Outside, rain began to fall lightly, tapping against the window. He turned his head, watching droplets trace paths down the glass. He could hear Jiraiya's voice in his head. A shinobi who loses control of his heart loses control of his power. Naruto sat up, lightning flickering outside. Then maybe, I need to understand my heart first. Quote. He stood, pulling on his jacket and heading out into the storm. High voltage, a promise in the rain. He found Hinata under a tree, training alone even in the rain, hands red from palm strikes, hair plastered to her face. Hinata, what are you doing out here? She turned, startled but smiling softly. Practicing. I want to get stronger, like you. He shook his head, stepping closer. You don't have to destroy yourself to prove that. You already are strong. Rain poured between them, but they didn't care. Naruto reached out, placing his hand over hers. You're one of the reasons I keep trying. Hinata's breath hitched. Naruto-kun. He leaned closer, voice barely audible. I don't know what's happening between us. Between me, you, and Ino. But I know this, when you're near me, I feel at peace. Tears mixed with raindrops on her cheeks. That's all I ever wanted you to feel. They stood like that, rain washing over them, hearts colliding in quiet thunder. When Naruto finally walked her home, they didn't speak. Words weren't needed anymore. Sunrise next morning, the cost of love. At dawn, Naruto reported late to training again. Kakashi's single visible eye curved in amusement. Greater than, you seem, distracted, Naruto. Something on your mind. Naruto grinned awkwardly. You could say that. Kakashi's tone turned thoughtful. Careful, kid. Love can make you stronger, but it can also blind you. Naruto's smile faded as he remembered Hinata's trembling hand, Ino's kiss, and his own confusion. He clenched his fists. I'll figure it out. I have to. Because I don't want to lose anyone. Kakashi nodded quietly. Then be honest, with them, and with yourself. Naruto looked toward the horizon, the sun rising over Konoha. His heart hurt, but it beat fiercely. Love wasn't a weakness, it was another kind of test. Final part, the choice of the heart. The days after that rainstorm changed everything. Naruto trained harder than ever, but his punches lacked focus, his chakra flickered unevenly. Jiraiya watched him from the sidelines, arms crossed, expression serious. Greater than, kid, what's eating you? Naruto didn't answer right away. Sweat dripped from his brow. I'm fine. Jiraiya sighed. No, you're not. You've got too many battles going on in that head of yours. A shinobi can't fight properly when his heart's split in two. Naruto froze. The truth stung more than any wound. Cherry Blossom Confessions. That evening, under a sunset painted in orange and gold, Naruto stood in the training field wherever eating had begun. Hinata arrived first, quiet as always, her eyes full of concern. Greater than, you asked me to meet you here, Naruto-kun. He nodded, forcing a small smile. Yeah, I need to tell you something. Quote. Before he could speak, Ino appeared behind him, hands on her hips. You called me too, didn't you? Figures. Naruto turned, heart hammering. Yeah, I need to stop running from this. The air between the three of them grew heavy. Wind rustled the grass, carrying the scent of rain from far away. He looked from Hinata to Ino, the two people who had changed him in ways he never expected. Greater than, I used to think being Hokage meant never needing anyone. But now I know I was wrong. You two taught me that strength isn't just about fighting alone, it's about what, and who, you fight for. Hinata's eyes shimmered with tears. Ino crossed her arms but said softly, so, who are you fighting for, Naruto? Quote. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the silence speak. Then, with steady breath, he turned toward Hinata. Greater than, Hinata, ever since we were kids, you believed in me when no one else did. You never tried to change me, you just stood by me. That's what real love is. Hinata gasped, hands trembling as tears slipped down her cheeks. Naruto turned to Ino next. Greater than, and you showed me that love can be fearless. That it's okay to be bold, to reach out, to chase what you want. I'll never forget that. Ino smiled sadly. You big idiot, you're choosing her, aren't you? Naruto nodded slowly. Yeah, I have to be honest, with both of you, and myself. Ino laughed through her tears. Don't you dare make her cry, or I'll come after you. He grinned. Deal. Hinata covered her face, overwhelmed, and when Naruto gently pulled her hands away, their eyes met again, just like the night under the fireworks. This time, no words were needed. He leaned in, and their lips met in a soft, trembling kiss that tasted like years of longing and quiet faith finally coming home. In that moment, everything else disappeared. Sunrise, a new dawn. A week later, Naruto stood before the Hokage's office, his mission scroll in hand. He was still training, still dreaming, but now, his heart was steady. Hinata waited outside, smiling up at him. Ready, he grinned, slipping his hand into hers. Yeah, I've got something worth protecting now. As they walked through the village, Ino watched from her flower shop window. She smiled to herself, eyes soft with pride and the faint ache of goodbye. Greater than, go get your dream, Naruto, she whispered. You finally found your light. And high above them, the sun broke fully through the clouds, warm, radiant, endless. Because in the end, Naruto didn't fail his exam. He passed the hardest one of all. The test of the heart. If you enjoy this fanfic then please like and subscribe my channel Narutofix 11 for more fanfic. Thank you.